today I would like to express my disappointment on the recent change that has been made to the Russian version of Lost Ark, and that is the fact that the weekly raid set of gear costs Acrasium to polish, to enchant. I would like to express my disappointment not in Mail.ru as a publisher, but in Smilegate as a developer, because they, Smilegate, are the ones who made this change possible for Mail.ru. Throughout this video, I'm gonna take you through the community's opinion over this. I'm gonna tell you why this change is so bad, and towards the end of the video I would also like to share my worries, concerns and opinions regarding the Western release of the game, and why I have a fucking nail through my heart right now as I'm recording this video. First of all, I want to tell you why this change is bad, and before I get into that, I would like to talk about pay to win, because this is obviously a very important topic. This change, the fact that the weekly raid set of gear takes Acrasium, has absolutely nothing to do with how pay to win Lost Ark is, and this change does not make Lost Ark more pay to win, less pay to win, first time pay to win. It just doesn't, and let me tell you why. The fact that it needs Acrasium now does not mean that you're gonna buy more Acrasium from the cash shop. There is no more Acrasium in the cash shop to be purchased. There is only the same Acrasium that you've purchased so far for your tier 2 gear, for example. So if you've bought Acrasium from the cash shop, Acrasium 1, Acrasium 2, then you're gonna continue buying Acrasium 1, Acrasium 2. It's not like it changes anything within the cash shop. It would make the game pay to win, or more pay to win, if they would also on top of this add 9 more ways in the cash shop to get Acrasium from. Then it would make sense. Hey, weekly raid needs Acrasium, here's another 5 ways in the cash shop to get that juicy Acrasium that you need. Then yes, but as things stand right now, this change is just a dumb ass change that has nothing to do with pay to win. The second thing I want to mention is the fact that this change is going to make the player's life harder in game. That's why I'm calling it a stupid ass change, because it doesn't accomplish anything. This particular change does nothing besides make the player have less fun in game. When this weekly raid thing and tier 2.5 gear and tier 2.5 PvP gear and GVG, all of this content, when it came to Korea, every Korean player, including myself because I was there at that time, was so happy. We are finally done with Acrasium 1 and Acrasium 2 for the PvE side of things. So if now you want to focus a couple of months just on PvE and you want to completely skip the GVG content, then have the weekly raid set that only requires materials in game. Have a breath of fresh air in between a hard grind for Acrasium 1 and 2 and the hard grind for the future upgrading mats. You know, the ones that are going to be tradable on the broker and the way gear is going to be enchanted in the next patches. This right here in the middle, the weekly raid set of gear, was such a breath of fresh air when it came out in Korea. Players were so happy about it. And let me tell you why I mentioned that this change was not intended. It's because since we're getting 2 sets right now, the PvP set and the PvE set, you might be wondering, hey, why the fuck do I need a PvP set? Gear doesn't matter in arenas. I can just go with my raiding set to 3v3 queue up. Yes, you can do that in arenas. But don't forget there is the GVG content that is also coming out, in which gear matters. Item level matters, and the bonuses that you get from the juicy 6 set of PvP gear tier 2.5 that we're getting with today's patch, those matter inside there. So 15% more damage to players, 25% less damage taken from players. These are really huge bonuses, and GVG content is important. So in Korea, when this came out, people were able to disenchant, or well, to dismantle their tier 2 PvE sets that they were wearing, put on a raiding set, a weekly raid set when that was up to par with item level, and with the Acrasium that they were getting from dismantling their tier 2 sets, they were upgrading their PvP sets. So players were happy. They were pushed into content, which is normal and nice and awesome in Lost Ark. New raids, cool challenges, and then at the same time they were dismantling gear and still farming Acrasium too for all of the pieces in the PvP set. That was an amazing experience and an amazing thing to see that Smilegate did in Korea. Okay, so now that you know how it was done in Korea, you know how the Koreans felt about it, you know how this change relates to pay to win, and you also know that it's just a dumbass change that's gonna make players unhappy and nothing else. Let me tell you why I have a nail in my heart, why I am worried and very disappointed in Smilegate, not mail.ru. When a developer of a game who owns the game, that game is their baby, when they bend over sideways for a publisher like mail.ru, which, let's face it, in the world of gaming worldwide, they are insignificant as a publisher. They're big in Russia, good for them, but other than that, they're just a publisher. So when a publisher like this makes you change your game for them, for no particular reason whatsoever, that makes me worried. That makes me think, if they do this for mail.ru, what are they gonna do for a big fish in the ocean, for a bigger publisher, for the publisher that's gonna maybe take the game in the West, for a publisher that's gonna take the game in NA, in Europe, when that publisher is gonna request XYZ left and right changes to the game and how the game works. Is Smilegate just gonna bend over? Hey, you want this change? Sure. You want PvP arena entries to cost 2 blue diamonds per queue? Sure, we can change the game for you. You want this to cost Acrasium? You want logging into the game to cost Acrasium? Sure, we're gonna do that for you. This worries me like a lot, because it just shows me a glimpse into what kind of deals Smilegate is making. And if this is not part of the deal, and mail.ru encountered some problems with translations and they just wanted to forcefully stretch out this weekly raid gear to a point where we're gonna have the next patch or the next content patch in 6 months from now, then that again worries me. And what that tells me is we might have a weak developer on our hands. Usually developers are the ones who really fight for their games with the publishers, right? Developers fight for integrity, developers fight for fairness, developers fight for making the game amazing and keeping it amazing throughout years, while publishers are the evil ones who want to make money off the game and find ways of doing it. But in this case, it's important to say these problems out loud, because today they're in Russia, tomorrow they're in the West, and there you go. We are all suffering from ignorance and from not saying them out loud, from not, voicing our concerns. And then all of a sudden we end up having the game in the West and end up having just a random ass publisher, and we have the same problems, and then we're gonna start voicing our concerns. But then it's already too late, because Smilegate is already too weak at that point to, be invested in anything. So it's important to have these kinds of concerns. It's important for me to have these kinds of videos where I really just don't care. For me, my past 12 years playing MMORPGs was, I can say, a blessing, because I've only been playing games that have big problems or huge problems. So I know these things so well. I can smell these kinds of shitty moves like a mile away, and the fact that they're there and that I shouldn't just stay passive towards them. Reason for this video as well, because it's important to get stuff out, and it's important for me to also get stuff off my chest, talk to you guys, see what you have to think, and just voice my concerns overall. That's kinda everything for this video. I wish you guys have fun in game. There's gonna be the Acrasium grind, and then there's gonna be more Acrasium grind for the PvP set, if you're even interested in that. Of course, as the large majority is not interested in any PvP content, the GVG is just gonna be again a niche thing, especially because of this change that makes getting both gears very hard, and who the fuck wants PvP gear in Lost Ark, right? To do GVG content and island PvP? Nobody. So everyone's just gonna go for the PvE set, put all of their Acrasium there, and then by the time Rohendel comes in March and or February, and then the next patch with better gear, everyone would have already forgotten about the existence of GVG content. Or vice versa, PvP players would have already forgotten about the existence of raiding content. Of course you can do raiding with your PvP set if you want to just get that, polish that to be better in GVG. But you're gonna be missing a lot of damage to raid bosses, and no normal group of decent PvE players is gonna take you there with your shitty ass 25% less damage taken from players' set bonuses, right? But just saying, this is gonna make the game a little bit more divided. This is going to divide the players inside the game a little bit more. This is going to make some parts of the content inaccessible for the other part of players, I guess. PvE players are not really gonna do GVG. PvP players are not really gonna do PvE if they wanna go for that kind of a gear. So it just makes the game overall just a little bit worse in terms of content, handling content, managing content, having fun in a variety of content inside the game. And that's why I'm calling it a stupid change. Nothing else, nothing related to pay to win, just plain as stupid. Unless, of course, in a week, 2-3 weeks from now, we're gonna start seeing those juicy weekly Acrasium 2 boxes in the cash shop popping like mushrooms, then yeah, okay. Then this change was indeed designed for more pay to win. But until that happens, and I don't really think that's gonna happen, might be wrong, we're gonna talk about it in a video if it does. I wish you guys lots of love. I thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Very interested always to see what you guys have to say and how you guys think about things. Stay safe, take it easy, and see you in just a couple of days from now.